Bible Tales by Heart. The Book of Daniel 6 verse 1 to 28. In a time long, long ago, when kings ruled with iron fists and kingdoms stretched as far as the eye could see, there lived a man whose faith in God could not be broken. His name was Daniel. He was not a warrior with a sword. He was not a prince born of royalty. Yet, his courage would one day silence lions and cause kings to tremble. This is the true story of a man who stood firm in his beliefs, even when the world turned against him. It's a story of jealousy, betrayal, courage, and the mighty hand of God that saves those who trust in Him. Gather close. Listen well. For this is the story of Daniel in the lion's den. After the great empire of Babylon fell, a new ruler came to power, King Darius the Mede. He was a wise and careful king, and he wanted his kingdom to be strong and well-governed. To keep things in order, Darius appointed 120 officials called satraps to watch over the many parts of his vast kingdom. Over these satraps, he chose 3 administrators to lead them. And among those 3, Daniel was one. Though Daniel was a foreigner, taken captive from Judah many years ago, he had proven himself trustworthy, wise, and faithful. He worked harder than anyone, and everything he did succeeded. It wasn't long before Daniel stood out. The king noticed this and planned to put Daniel in charge of the entire kingdom, making him the highest official under the king himself. The other officials grew angry. Jealousy burned in their hearts like a fire. How could a man from Judah be favored above them? They plotted to bring Daniel down. The jealous officials watched Daniel's every move. They searched for mistakes in his work. They spied on him, hoping to find a flaw or a crime to report to the king. But Daniel was honest. He was faithful. He did his work with care, and he served the king with all his heart. The officials could find nothing wrong with him. Frustrated, they whispered among themselves, "We will never find any fault in Daniel unless it has something to do with the law of his God." And so, they came up with a wicked plan. They went to King Darius together and said, "O King Darius, live forever. We, your officials, have agreed that you should issue a royal law. For the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or man besides you, O king, should be thrown into the den of lions." The king, flattered by their words and thinking it was a way to strengthen loyalty, agreed. He signed the law. And in those days, any law signed by the king of the Medes and Persians could not be changed. The trap was set. When Daniel heard about the new law, he knew what it meant. But Daniel also knew something far more important: his loyalty to God must never be broken. So Daniel went to his upstairs room, opened his window facing Jerusalem, the city of his ancestors and the temple of God, and 3 times a day, he knelt down to pray, just as he had always done. He gave thanks to God, and he asked for help, knowing full well that men were watching. Sure enough, the wicked officials crept near Daniel's house. They peered through the window and saw him praying and asking God for help. Smirking, they hurried to the king and said, "O king, did you not sign a law saying that anyone who prays to any god or man besides you will be thrown into the den of lions?" The king nodded. "Yes," he said. "The law stands. It cannot be changed." Then the men spoke. "Daniel, one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, O king. He still prays to his God 3 times a day." At those words, the king's heart sank. Darius loved and respected Daniel. He realized at once he had been tricked by jealous men. For the rest of the day, King Darius worked to find a way to save Daniel. He searched the law books. He called his advisors. But there was nothing he could do. The law could not be changed. As the sun began to set, the officials returned. "O king," they reminded him, "the law of the Medes and Persians must be carried out." With a heavy heart, the king gave the order. Daniel was brought to the lion's den, a deep, dark pit filled with hungry lions. Before Daniel was lowered in, the king spoke softly. "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." A large stone was rolled over the entrance. The king sealed it with his royal ring and the rings of his nobles so no one could secretly save Daniel. The king returned to his palace that night. He could not eat. He refused entertainment. Sleep fled from his eyes. His heart was heavy with worry. In the cold, damp darkness of the lion's den, Daniel remained calm. He knelt and prayed. And then, something miraculous happened. God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions. Though the beasts were strong and hungry, they stayed at a distance. Their golden eyes glowed in the dark, but their jaws remained closed. Not a claw touched Daniel. The angel of God stood watch over him all night long. At the first light of dawn, King Darius hurried to the lion's den. He called out in a trembling voice, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?" And from the darkness came a calm, steady voice, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the lions' mouths. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I done any wrong before you, O king." Joy flooded the king's heart. He ordered that Daniel be lifted from the den at once. When Daniel was brought up, everyone saw that he was unharmed, not a scratch on him, because he had trusted in his God. Then, King Darius gave a new command. The men who had falsely accused Daniel, along with their families, were brought to the lion's den. Before they even reached the bottom, the lions overpowered them and crushed their bones. Afterward, King Darius wrote to all the people, nations, and languages in his kingdom. "May you prosper greatly," he declared. I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God and endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. And Daniel continued to prosper in the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. So ends the story of Daniel in the lion's den, a tale of unshakable faith, wicked schemes, and the mighty hand of God who saves those who trust in him. Let it be a lesson to us all. No matter what laws men may pass, no matter how dark the night or how fierce the lions, the God who rescued Daniel still reigns today. He is the protector of the faithful, the defender of the innocent, and the deliverer of those who call upon his name. This is no mere fable. This is the word of the living God. And those who stand firm in him, as Daniel did, will never be alone in the lion's den.